Hey guys, thanks for tuning in as always. Today's knife is a special blade that is on loan from a friend of mine, Chad. So thank you, Chad, for letting me borrow this. And we're going to be taking a look at an Ochs Fox model. So let's jump into the specs real quick, and then I'll just kind of break down the knife and talk about the various parts. Now with this knife, the blade length is about 3.3 inches. The handle length is about 4.5 inches, giving us a total overall length of about 7.8 inches. And then the handle width in this direction right here is about 0.545 inches. And then the next measurement that I took was the handle width in this direction, and obviously that's important if you want to put other items in your pocket with your pocket knife, such as I do. And the width at the widest part in this direction is 1.48 inches, so just about 1.5 inches wide. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen knives that are yay wide, and that's the only thing that goes in the pocket. Anyhow, now the weight is 5.6 ounces, and anyhow, that's pretty much all the specs. So let's break it down, I guess, a little bit. So Ochs, he is a knife maker. Pretty much self-taught. He kind of has a similar story to a lot of other knife makers. You know, grew up in the woods, you know, always had a knife, always used a knife, even from a very young age, and all this information is taken from his website, but primarily he was trained in cabinet making with exotic and hardwoods, and then that taught him a lot of the skills that he applied into the knife making realm. So he did mention that he has had quite a few people help him out along the way, but anyhow, so that's kind of his story. And I think if I were to sum up this knife, I would just sum it up as a very organic user. And I know that he used the term organic as well, but his knife designs are very much organic. I mean, you have this beautiful kind of leaf-shaped blade with the drop point, a high grind there. The handle is very, very ergonomic. A lot of time and attention was put into the handle to make it so, and I'll talk about that. But you know, even in looking at some of his other designs, like his Tontos, the front swedge is very much rounded. Again, that his design language, I think it's very pronounced, it's very strong, and it's very much his own. I mean, if you see an Ochs, you definitely know that it's an Ochs. And then a lot of the materials that he uses, he does have a few that are kind of the new, you know, carbon fiber and Damascus variations, but for the most part, you know, hammered copper. Even this one, this is a copper shredded carbon fiber. I've never seen it on a knife before. This is the first time. And again, it's earth tones, earth colors. Again, tying into that organic feel in terms of materials used, and just the composition of the lines. So the blade here, as I mentioned, it's a drop point, kind of a high grind line. It's very, very sharp, cuts well. The grinds on both sides are quite even. I don't know how the finish was achieved. It looks like it might have been an acid etched stone wash followed kind of by a bead blast, I believe. I could be wrong on that. And then there's his logo as well. So beautiful grind on this side, very pronounced, looks really nice. This side, not quite as pronounced. There's a little bit here where it's been smoothed out or sanded a little bit, but I'm sure that he freehands everything, so pretty close to perfect. Now the handle, as I mentioned, it is I believe a copper shredded carbon fiber. First time I've seen it. Really interesting material. I think what it does really well is it takes, you know, kind of some of those traditional colors and brings them into a more modern package. So, you know, you might expect, you know, perhaps a wood handle or a bone or stag or something would have kind of a similar look to it, but it obviously would have a lot more texture and so forth. But anyhow, really cool material. Here's a close-up of it. Just really neat. And then here on the lock side, you know, it's a titanium. This has a really nice working finish. It's looks like it was tumbled quite heavily. It gives it a really good user finish. You won't see many scratches on it. And the entire knife has been just absolutely contoured. I've never seen anyone take this much time on a knife to round out the edges. I mean, typically what you'll have, you know, before it's rounded out, you'll have basically a 90-degree angle all the way around, or something like similar to it. And then what the maker or the company will do is they'll just kind of put a 45-degree chamfer all the way around it, so you don't have anything sharp. But I mean, this is rounded. I mean, as you can see, there was a lot of time and effort put into making that ergonomic, and gives it that organic look that we talked about, or that I mentioned anyhow. You have a hinder style over travel stop here. Nice custom pivot. Has a kind of an acid etched stone wash on there. Really cool look. And one thing that I really like is the two-tone look to this side achieved with the lock bar cutout here. As you can see, he took, I don't think he basically ground out this with a drill or a Dremel or whatever tool he used. I don't know exactly, but he left kind of that polished or high satin finish there, and it creates a nice two-tone look. And I think that's something that we don't see very often from companies or makers, is that they will you know, just kind of ground this out in terms of function, but they don't do anything aesthetic with it. There have been a few companies who have done cool things with it, and I think it's just nice detail. It's just something to appreciate. And then it matches the kind of the satin finished screws here, these Torx screws that hold the pocket clip in, so kind of ties in there a little bit. Anyways, it's just something that I appreciated on this particular knife. Now the pocket clip, again, ergonomic, kind of those sweeping, flowing lines, nice thick titanium, great retention. And I think the pocket clip is something that's very important. I mean, for those of us that use knives with pocket clips, the pocket clip is the aspect of knife that we have the most interaction with, because the knife typically spends more time in the pocket than it does out of the pocket being used to cut. Or even if you sit there and flip it for fun, you know, it spends more time in in the pocket than it does anywhere else. So having a good pocket clip really does make a difference, and it really affects the way that we carry and interact with the knife, possibly more so than even the cutting edge in most cases. If you don't have a pocket clip, then obviously the texture on the handle for when you reach into your pocket to try to find it and pull it out will have a big impact. Or if you have a lanyard tied to it, you don't use a pocket clip, obviously that lanyard will be the thing that you possibly interact with the most. So anyways, sorry for the tangent. But the pocket clip is, again, beautifully well done. Nice flowing, sweeping, organic lines. And the thing that I really like about this is that when it rides in the pocket, you just have this much of the knife sticking out of your pocket, and these screws right here work as an excellent traction point. So when you reach in and you grab it, it's completely solid right there, because those screws lock your finger in and you can pull it out without any problem. So while I do appreciate kind of the screwless 3D titanium clips that are out there, in terms of real use and functionality, something like this works much, much better for easy extraction. And, you know, being primarily a user that Mr. Ochs is, I think he gets that, and I think he understands it. You know, he could probably do a screwless pocket clip if he felt so inclined to do so. Now, the back here we have some chamfering for the flipper tab. So when you flip it, your finger doesn't hit 90-degree angles. You know, not that, honestly, he doesn't even need to do this, because these edges here are rounded so well that it's not sharp by any means, but again, it's nice that he took the time to do that. There are some knives out there where this feels good, it's nicely contoured, and then you hit sharp edges, but not on his knife. The spine of the blade itself, again, it's just so wonderfully contoured. I mean, this is I don't know, I've never felt another knife where someone's taken this much time. It just feels really good. I know that sounds really weird, but it just, I mean, if you get one of his knives, just feel the lines on it, just feel all the work he's put into it. It really is impressive that he takes the time to do that. So, and it just makes it a very visceral experience. Now the lock bar cutout, it's obviously titanium, no stick whatsoever, disengages beautifully. Has a good bit of tension on the lock bar. This is going to be one that's a little more difficult to disengage for the weak-handed. But again, as a user knife, you want lockup to be stout and secure, as opposed to it's really easy to unlock it. So I like stronger tension. I like tankish knives. and I think this fits into that category. But he's also contoured the lockbar relief cutout here, so as you shove your thumb in there and disengage it, no sharp edges, fairly easy to disengage as far as on your thumb. So it does use a ball bearing system. It's quite smooth, great detent. Nice and strong. It was quite loud, quite a loud detent, and just flips beautifully. Light switch or press down, both get the job done beautifully well. So, you know, just a really cool design, really cool maker to look at. He has a lot of great things going here. The only bad thing I suppose is going to be availability. His books are closed. And my friend Chad, he was able to score this at from the table, I think on a lottery or something of that nature, at I think G6 down in Vegas there. But you know, if you can't make it to a show, well, even if you can make it to a show, your chances aren't amazing of scoring one in a lottery. And if you want one on the secondary market, they're going to be quite expensive. So availability is not great, but when you have one guy working with his hands, what can you do? So anyways, I would just, I'd recommend if you guys have a friend who has one or you're at a show or something, just get the chance to kind of hold one, to really take the time to kind of just touch the entire knife. It's really cool. So anyways, I think that's pretty much it. I think I talked about all the different aspects of the knife. And I'm grateful to definitely have had the opportunity to check this one out and kind of see what all the rave is about. I wouldn't call it hype because I think his work merits the popularity that he's seeing. So anyhow, his website does seem pretty much up to date, which is a rarity among knife makers. And then I know that he does post on Instagram as well. So if you're interested in his work, that's the best way to follow him. See his new design, see what he's checking out. Oh, the backspace here, that's also the shredded carbon fiber, and it's kind of got this nice peak to it too. So again, another nice detail. Anyways, so that's pretty much it. Comments or questions, feel free to post down below. If you are fortunate enough to have one of his works, share what you think. I mean, I think that the asking or the going rate for his work right now probably speaks volumes of what people think of it, which is good. So anyways, thanks for tuning in and checking out this knife with me, and I'll see you on the next video.